Hola a todos. Es tan bueno verte. Siéntense, por favor. It is so good to see you. Please sit down. Bienvenidos a la República Dominicana. Welcome to the Dominican Republic, a culture that is completely new. Waves of fun, a taste of tropical joy, and the best dancing music awaits you. Going into a new country is always an amazing experience, but even experiencing a flight full of bubbly, loud Dominican people, to going through an airport, to entering a whole new world as it seems, is an experience that is never easily forgotten. Learning more about the culture of the Dominican Republic as well as visiting it is an amazing experience. The perks of having a Dominican mother has introduced and immersed me in the culture from the beginning. From learning how to speak Spanish at a young age, to staying in the city Santo Domingo for weeks, and to bringing some of that culture home to my friends, I would consider it as my home away from home. I want to talk about 3 aspects of their culture that amaze me every day: their food, their appearance and relations, and their parties, or as they would call it, their fiestas. First of all, I want to talk about their food. Something I found so simple yet so different was their milk. You know, every breakfast, everyone might have cereal in the morning. They might go to their fridge and get this nice cold milk. But this milk is different. It was powdered and it was room temperature milk. I found that so different and so weird to get used to, but it ended up being better tasting than the milk that we have here. Now, another thing that I find really different was this certain bread that they sold. This certain bread is called pan de agua. In English, it would be bread of water. Now, some people go to the store to buy their usual bag of fruits. Dominicans go to the store to buy their usual bag of pan de agua. Whenever my family would go to the Dominican, my grandma would always go to the store. She would buy a whole bag full of pan de agua because she knew that we would devour it in just a matter of days. It is actually the best tasting bread I've ever had in my entire life. Now, going on to their lunches and dinners, it is a meal that I'm always excited for. It's almost as if you get to have Thanksgiving every day. A lot of their dinners and lunches comprise of having different meats, beans, rice, plantain, cassava, which is like a thin like bread, and sweet tasting condensed milk desserts. Even looking at the homepage for Life and Travel, it talks about their food. It talks about all the different food that you should try, talking about their soups, their meats, their well-seasoned, all homemade food. And one of the main things that they talk about is their tostones. That would be their fried plantains. They said that tostones is another Dominican food that we share with several other Latin American countries, but it holds a special place in the Dominican table. Whenever I go there, I will never be disappointed with the food that they put on the table, because no matter if you're rich or poor, you're always going to have a giant meal every single day. Another thing that's very different about their meals is when they eat it. A lot of times here you might have your breakfast in the morning, your lunch maybe around noon to 1, and then your dinner maybe around 6. For there, they might have their breakfast at whenever, their lunch might be around 3 to 4 p.m., and their dinners are usually very late, almost to like 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. Now, I found that really weird to get used to, but it was also really fun because all family would get together and they might have a giant meal and a mini fiesta. My second main point I want to talk about is their appearance and their relations. Something that I found so different was their view on dressing. If I were to walk into a store, into a supermarket with a t-shirt or shorts, they would look at me and they would judge me. For them, wherever you go, dressing up is an expected thing. This means wearing blouses and pants, even if you're going to a park and it's 90 degrees outside. Having your hair and makeup done is also expected as well. Even going to the mall, you find so many people wearing dresses and heels just to go shopping with their kids. When I went to the Dominican, my abuela would always get mad that I was going to wear shorts and t-shirts only to go to the hair salon and then back home. My abuela, as a source, would say, "You cannot leave the house until you're dressed like you care." And that meant that when people would go outside and they would go out dressed, that wasn't only because they were supposed to look nice, but it was also an expected thing for other people, and also respectful, as if I was going to wear trashy stuff, I was being disrespectful to other people around me. However, one thing that I struck was that even though they wanted to dress up nice, their relations to one another was something I always look up to. They're always very, very welcoming to other people, and their families are very, very close. Something expected in the Dominican culture is that if someone you know knocks at the door around lunchtime, it is expected to invite them in and to sit them down and feed them. I guess that might be one of the reasons why they have giant meals. Many times it is family, sometimes it is friends. Looking at Cosmistio Global, an online learning website, it even emphasizes the importance of family, saying that extended family always lives near each other and they're always very close. That's something I always saw as normal around there. I would always see an uncle drop in maybe at 2 p.m., another aunt just drop in at 3 p.m., and they were all very close. And you would always see them living near each other or maybe having siblings still living together, and that was something I always look up to, just seeing how close they were and how much they cared for each other and loved each other. Now, my closing point, I want to talk about their fiestas. When I mean fiestas in capital letters. Their parties are insane. I would call those people loca, as well as definitely the life of the party. I think the craziest Dominican party that I've ever been to was just a high school graduation party. Everyone dressed as if they were going to a wedding, and it was very fancy. There was dinner around 10 p.m., and then the party started after that. There's usually a regular party with parents, some champagne, nice and chill, some dancing, and then after that there is an after party, and then after that there is an after party. Usually that party would end up finishing around 5 in the morning. Now, if you can imagine, that was just a high school party. Even looking at TripAdvisor, countless people have talked about the party culture of the Dominican Republic. Whether in a city, in a resort, rich, poor, their specific words were an anything goes kind of place. In conclusion, learning more about the culture of the Dominican Republic, as well as visiting it and being immersed in it, is an amazing experience. Whether it is trying their amazing new foods, dressing up more, and getting closer to your family members, or learning how to bailar en una fiesta grande, is a whole unforgettable experience. The next time you're craving a new experience and a good vacation, you can find yourself in love with the whole new world of the Dominican Republic.